One of the hardest transitions as a business owner, in my opinion, is navigating marketing on a new platform. For many of us, when we first started our business, we started out probably on either Instagram or Facebook for our marketing. And at times, when we start marketing on a new platform, we may try to use the same marketing strategies across every platform we're on. Now, there are times when this will actually work, but there are other times when our marketing strategies won't translate well to the other platforms we're on. So, in today's episode, I am going to be sharing 3 Instagram marketing strategies that actually won't work for your podcast. Now, if you're using these strategies, they're actually going to keep your podcast audience as just listeners instead of converting them into paying clients. So let's dive into today's episode. Hey, Mama. Welcome to the Mama Turned Mompreneur podcast. I'm your host, Andria Singletary, a wife, mama of 2, and former virtual assistant turned podcast strategist and producer. This is the podcast for the mama who is burnt out trying to build her business on social media. You're tired of putting in so much time and energy marketing your business on social media, only to hear crickets and barely get any engagement on your posts. You don't have time to waste as a busy mama, and you need an effective way to generate leads for your business. Well, mama, you're in the right place. On this podcast, I will be giving you the inside scoop on how to create a podcast that generates consistent leads for your business on autopilot, mixed in with some mompreneur hacks and tips for growing your business as a busy mama. So grab your coffee, your notebook and pen, put in those earbuds, and let's dive in. Okay, so before we get into today's episode, I have a couple of announcements. First of all, oh my gosh, the social media detox bundle has been, I'm just speechless at how amazing it has been. As of today, we had over 400 people sign up for this bundle. So one, that is huge in and of itself, especially for this being my first bundle I've ever hosted. But the feedback I've been getting, not just from the contributors, but the women signing up for this bundle, it's been amazing. They are loving these resources. They're connecting with the contributors. It's just so amazing how this has just been, just how it's gone and everything. And the resources, again, they are phenomenal. So tomorrow, September 19th, is the last day you can sign up for this bundle. After that, the resources will be gone. You will never be able to access these resources for free again. And I just want to share. So I contributed 3 different resources to this bundle. So one, I have my masterclass where it walks you through how to simplify your lead generation through podcasting. My second resource is how to simplify your content creation through content repurposing. And I really break down on how to take your podcast and repurpose that baby for so many other platforms outside of social media. And then my third resource. So back in May of this year, I hosted the 3 Days to Lead Generating Podcast Content Challenge, and it was a hit. And so I took that and I made it evergreen. So now you have 3 days. So 3 days I am popping in your email. You get video tutorials walking you through how to do market research without ever hopping on a Zoom call, how to do keyword research for your podcast, and how to actually take those market research topics that you get and those keywords and turn them into actual podcast topic ideas. And so you can actually map out your podcast content for the next month. And as a bonus, you get access to my podcast recording outline. And this is what I share with my clients, and they tell me it has simplified recording their podcast episodes. So if you want access to these amazing resources, you need to head on over to momatorepreneur.com/SMD bundle. That is where you are going to sign up for the bundle and you are going to get access to these resources. So this will also be linked in the show notes and the episode description. Then my second announcement. Guys, this is episode 97. 97. I am almost to 100 episodes. Like, it is so wild. So wild. And I'm getting to 100 episodes before my 1-year anniversary. My 1-year anniversary for this podcast is October 31st. I just had to share that. Like, it's just so mind blowing just how far I've come with this podcast. But all right, enough of the announcements. Let's get into today's episode. Now, I know it always seems like I'm picking on Instagram, and that's because I am. But real talk, I know for a lot of us, Instagram just tends to be where we gravitate when it comes to our marketing. And I get it. Like, you have stories, you have reels, you have carousels, you have a lot of options for creating content on that platform. The thing is that those Instagram strategies, 3 in particular that I'm going to talk about today, they don't translate well to your podcast. They actually hurt your conversions. So let's get into these 3 Instagram marketing strategies that will not work for your podcast. So 1, giving your call to action once in your episodes. So think about this. On Instagram, when we give our call to action, whether that's in the caption of a reel, caption of a carousel, even when we're doing stories, we give that call to action like one time. That's it. Now, if you don't believe me, go over to Instagram and go to somebody's business page and take a look at their caption. You're only going to find it like one time because it makes sense, right? It doesn't make sense to repeat the call to action over and over again. But the thing is that in your podcast content, especially because it is audio content, you have to give that call to action more than once. So that is why you'll see typically in my podcast episodes, I tell you to call to action once early in the episode. I may even bring it up again in the middle, and then I remind you of it again at the end of the episode. Because it's audio content, people are consuming it through their ears, and so you have to repeat it so that it sticks. And it's like, oh, wait, I need to go to do this thing. I need to go to this URL or whatever the call to action is. So stop only giving your call to action once in your podcast episodes. Give it more than once. It's okay to repeat yourself. You need to repeat yourself to ensure that your listeners are remembering to take action on your call to action. Okay, the second thing is leaving your call to action for the end of the episode. Again, when we are creating content on a platform like Instagram, we leave our call to action at the end because we are pulling people in with our hook. Then we're giving them, whether it's like educational or, trying to help them envision themselves in our offer, whatever, the meat of that actual post is. And then at the end, we give the call to action. It makes sense. That does not translate well on your podcast. So you have to think about it this way. On Instagram, the content is much more bite-sized. Your podcast, that's long-form content. So if you think about what podcasts, people are usually consuming it on the go while they're doing something else. And so say you're leaving your call to action for the end of the episode, but hey, that listener, they reached their destination before your episode ended, and so they didn't get to hear the call to action. And maybe they decided, oh, I got enough from that episode. I don't need to go back and listen to the last minute or so. So they never hear that call to action. And then you're wondering why people aren't converting from your podcast. It's because they never heard the call to action. So again, this is why, if you notice in my episodes, I give the call to action towards the start of the episode. And then, like I said, again, in the middle. And then I remind at the end for those who do listen to the end of the episode. Now, the third thing is not referencing other episodes that relate to the episode's topic. So let me break this down a bit. In our social media content, it's not typical for us to refer to a previous post. It just doesn't really make sense. Now, yes, people may repurpose older posts, reshare older posts, but 9 times out of 10, you're not going to see a business owner refer back to an older post unless it was within like that same week, like it was a recent post that they're referring to. It's just not really typical. But the thing is that you want to refer to older podcast episodes if they relate to the current episode. So the reason why you want to do this is because you are, one, you're keeping people in your podcast world longer. So you have them listening to this one episode, but then you're referencing these other ones. So that way, after they listen to the episode they're currently listening to, they go and they start binging other episodes. And this is important because this is part of the nurturing process. They're getting to know you better. They're getting to learn your expertise more. They're getting to see like what it's like to work with you. And you can take them on this journey. And so if you have a topic that you've spoken on before, but maybe you come at it at different angles in different episodes, reference them in your episode. Say back in episode such and such, I spoke on this. But also, too, take it a step further and in your show notes, include links to episodes that relate to that episode. So, for instance, back in episode 53, I talk about why your podcast might not be generating leads. And I dive into some of the things that I'm talking about today and really break down why those strategies aren't effective for your podcast. Now, in that episode on 53, I don't talk about how they're used on Instagram, but that would be another episode you should go and listen to kind of learn a little bit more about why these strategies I'm talking about today aren't effective for your podcast content. And so that's what I'm talking about, doing that in your podcast episodes. So that way you're taking your listener on a journey. You're giving them more content to listen to. So that way they're getting to know you better. You're nurturing them. You're educating them. You're giving them more value, and they're getting a better idea of who you are, how you can support them. And so it makes it a lot easier to move them from listener to not just a lead, but a hot lead. Somebody who's like, you know what? I got to work with this person. They know what they're talking about. I know that they can help me. They have what I need. Let me see how I can work with them. And that's what you want to create. That's the type of experience you want to create for your listeners. And so that is why you should be referencing previous podcast episodes in your content. So when you're planning out your podcast episodes, kind of think about like, okay, have I already talked about this topic before? Oh, I have. You know what? Let me make a list of the episodes that I can reference and watch. You're going to start seeing those older episodes getting more listens. And we already know downloads are just vanity metrics, but that's going to let you know that the strategy is working. But not just that, you're going to start seeing better conversions from your podcast. You're going to start seeing more people coming from your podcast inquiring about how they can work with you. Okay, so as a quick recap, the 3 Instagram marketing strategies that do not work well on your podcast and will honestly hurt your conversions are giving your call to action once in your episodes, leaving your call to action for the end of the episode, and not referencing other episodes that relate to that episode's topic. All right, as a reminder, tomorrow is the last day to sign up for the social media detox bundle. Now, there are a lot of resources, but you have until October 31st to actually sign up for the different resources. But the main thing is that you go and you register for the bundle so that way you have the link to the gift page and you can take your time and go through the resources and decide which ones are right for you and sign up for those. So again, if you want to access this bundle, if you want to get the support, the resources, the tools, the templates, everything that you need so that you can start building a sustainable business that does not rely on social media, head on over to momatermompreneur.com/SMD bundle. And that is also going to be linked in the show notes and the episode description. All right, I'll catch you in the next episode. Mama, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to hang with me. Whether you're a podcaster ready to create podcast content that attracts her dream clients, or a mama that's ready to stop the social media burnout and simplify her marketing through podcasting, I can support you. Head on over to momatermompreneur.com/connect to submit an interest form so we can chat about how I can best support you. All right, Mama, I will talk to you again soon.